From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is AgDay.
On the loose, how police and a couple of cowboys work together to help bring this wayward cow home. Back on the dial, one automaker reverses its plan to take AM radio out of new cars and trucks. Plus, is the 2-year rally in grains really over?
So we look at soybeans and we look at a 75% probability on beans.
The hopeful signs for producers some analysts are seeing right now on AgDay. Good morning, I'm Clinton Griffiths. Grain prices have fallen sharply from their historical highs from 2022. But a new outlook says the party isn't completely over. Analysts at Runaway Research releasing their 10-year outlook for grain markets. AgDay's Michelle Rook joins us. And Michelle, what does the study show?
Clinton, the major pullback that we've seen recently in U.S. grain markets has been largely a function of the U.S. not being competitive globally, especially against Brazil's record corn and soybean production. And that's a trend that's likely to continue. However, Rabobank research indicates U.S. grain prices do not have to return to the low levels we saw just a few years ago. Looking out over the next decade, Rabo economists are optimistic, seeing even with rising production globally, they see demand outpacing supplies due to a growing population and a push for green fuels.
When we look at our 10-year baseline being very strong in the U.S. and think about a strong livestock market and strong demand for livestock products, also you see, particularly on the oilseed side, you see strong demand for crushed soybeans.
For soybeans, Nicholson estimates another 600 million bushels of crush capacity, which should keep prices supported long term.
So we look at soybeans and we look at a 75% probability on beans. We've got, kind of the bottom end as you get out to the end of this 10-year baseline, you're still above kind of around, the low end is around $14 for the national average farm gate price.
And he says corn will have to fight for acres, which will keep prices higher than historical averages.
Are we going back to $3 corn? No. Are we going back to low $4 corn? In our minds, no. And we do see those prices staying good for the farmers. In this range that we established back in the mid-2000s, we're not going to move out of that range at this point. We may not be trading at the top end of that range. We may be trading more in the middle of that range.
Surprisingly, he says wheat has been the leader with global stocks at the tightest levels since 2007-08.
That will put acres away from soybeans and corn both. So corn and soybeans have to maintain to try to keep their acres as well.
So again, the acreage fight will take place through price. I'm Michelle Rook reporting for AgDay.
All right, thanks, Michelle. Besides looking ahead to corn and soybeans, we're looking ahead to the value of the land they grow on. And one land expert says the market is now seeing a sudden slowdown. Jim Rothermich of Iowa Appraisal tells us the buyer pool has shrunk, and it's not just due to fewer farmers buying land, but also shrinking interest from outside investors. Now check this out. He says last year, Iowa saw 19 farmland sales over $20,000 per acre. And so far this year, there have been 11, but 8 of those happened in the first 3 months of the year. Rothermich says farmland isn't the scalding hot market we saw in 2022. And the biggest hit is to lower quality ground, including an uptick in the number of no sales at auction. Rothermich says the 2 biggest changes are lower commodity prices and high input costs, with interest rates coming in third.
Interest rates have some influence, but there's so much cash reserves out there, it hasn't taken full effect. So in time, as those cash reserves get depleted in the countryside, those interest rates will start affecting land values. So I expect in the next 12 months, I would say we have a potential for a 10% price correction in the land market.
But what about cash rents? Looking specifically at Iowa, they have risen 9% so far this year. That's according to a just completed annual survey conducted by Iowa State University Extension. It pegs a statewide average at $279 an acre. That's up $23 from last year. The highest cash rent average is reported out of Northeast Iowa. That's District 3 on this chart at $307 per acre. Now, nationally, USDA reported last year the average rate to rent cropland was $148 to the acre, $7 higher than the previous year. From extreme drought to now several rounds of rain, take a look at this chart from the National Weather Service. It shows the dramatic rise in the Canadian River in Amarillo, the city receiving several inches of rain in just a few hours last week. The last time the river was this high nearly 27 years ago. It's an area that usually only receives about 20 inches of rain annually. And now the Texas Panhandle and the Southern Plains could see more rain this week. Meteorologist Matt Engelbrecht joins us with the very latest.
That's exactly right, Clint. And as we look at, how you doing, Clint? I'll ask you later. We got the flooding potential starting to increase, not too extreme. We're not in the yellows or the reds or even the purples Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, but you'll kind of get a sense of where we're following the rain chances. And the unfortunate part about this, while we need the rain in some areas, the flooding potential or the heavy downpours keep overlapping day after day after day. Meanwhile, back here to the east, we have nothing in terms of rainfall. Maybe a few light showers here and there, but we're staying away from any kind of flooding potential into the panhandle of Texas and also into Oklahoma, back up here to the north coming up on Thursday. Now go ahead and take a look at your screen. We're going to do a little I Spy for you here. Now this is in Ohio. Go ahead and take a closer look. Can you see? Can you see it? How about now? It is a grenade found in Levi's farm, in his field, as he was turning up the soil. Now, obviously, it was taken care of, but he found it in this cornfield. He says the grenade was turned up during planting and discovered it while making a routine check of its stings. As you can see in this last picture, police were called out for safely disposing of it. No one was hurt, and it's not known how the grenade, that's right, grenade ended up in the field. But Levi jokes, saying there must be some bomb yields this season. Levi getting all over on that one. We'll of course have a look at your forecast coming up in just a little bit. A grenade.
AM radio is not going away now after all. For some new vehicle models, Ford announcing it is reversing a decision to take AM radio off its 2024 Ford and Lincoln vehicles. And it says for owners of Ford's electric vehicles without AM broadcast capability, it will offer a software update. The move comes after a bipartisan group of lawmakers introduced a bill calling on the NTSA to require AM in new vehicles at no additional cost. Now, they cited safety concerns, noting AM's use of the emergency alert system. Now, it's also been a popular platform for people to get agricultural news, and earlier this year it was reported 8 automakers were considering removing AM radio from the dashboards of some of their models. So what's causing the dramatic swing in soybean markets this week? We'll dive into that coming up next. And caught on camera, a wild police chase that ended with the help of some real-life cowboys and some fancy rope. From posting some of the largest gains since September on Monday to pressing lower on Tuesday, it's been a wild ride already this week for soybeans. Michelle Rook is back with more on which direction things could go today in markets now.
A mixed day in the grains on Tuesday. Kent Vita with Paradigm Futures is joining us with analysis. And Kent, wheat, the price leader on Tuesday, and how much of that was some of these Black Sea export concerns again?
The ships are not being allowed to either enter or leave the ports, despite the fact that the agreement was extended last week. The Ukrainians are making a big deal about it. The wheat market was able to take notice here today, and that combined with a very still poor crop condition rating is what got the wheat fired up here again. And if we can't get grain out of the U.S. because of a small crop, and we're not getting grain out of the Ukraine, world importers of wheat are going to really struggle here to wonder where their source is going to come from.
Yeah. So corn got some spillover support from that as well. But how much of the corn rally, in addition, was just, strong technical performance and as well, maybe the market putting in some weather premium?
Well, I think it was a good technical performance. Certainly, we did manage to close here on Tuesday just above the old lows at 572. So that was a very good technical day. Nice to see that hold into the close. And then, also I think the weather is probably playing into things as well. We are looking at a pattern here for the next 10 days that has above normal temperatures in it. Really no precip whatsoever for the Corn Belt.
Absolutely. What about soybeans, though? Setting back, was that just profit taking, especially since we saw it in the products as well?
Well, I think the meal here is the problem. Meal prices are soft, more than likely because of hog margins to begin with. Also, that large Brazilian crop is going to find its way, I think, into Argentine crush capacity. And so, even though the Argentine crop is quite poor, world importers of meal probably going to be able to find plenty of source. And, the combination of those things, with a much higher soybean rally on Monday, just led to some profit taking here on Tuesday.
Well, thanks so much for your analysis. Can't beat it with Paradigm Futures. We'll have more Ag Day coming up.
I still can't get over those pictures. There was a grenade in the field. Weather forecast going through the next couple of days, Wednesday, Thursday into Friday. We keep most of the precipitation, the rain, back here towards the west. Now we do need it coming up. Now we are going to take a look at on Thursday the updated drought monitor and the soil moisture, get a sense of what we're looking at going into Memorial Day weekend. Between now and then, some of that rain that will be coming down includes not only up here in Minnesota and Minneapolis, but a majority of the rain back down here to the south as we pull in some Gulf moisture. Don't want to forget either for maybe friends, family, you yourself, maybe down in the southeast. Memorial Day weekend, another low pressure system is going to be working back through the southeast, back up into Tennessee and Kentucky Saturday and Sunday. Through Thursday, though, that rain stays back off towards the west into Texas, Oklahoma, a little bit into the Dakotas. Now, the other part of this, the wind forecast. Now, a cold front or a cool front is going to be dropping down from the north to the south Wednesday. So that is where you're seeing this light up with some stronger wind gusts, about 15 to 25 miles per hour, maybe a stronger wind gust up to about 35 miles per hour at times. So that's that weak cold front, that weak boundary dropping from the north to the south. And then we also have where that rain is located, a bit of a system back up here in the Dakotas, back down to the south, where we may be pushing 35 mile per hour wind gusts. As we get into our Thursday and Friday, things start to relax. The remnant cool air is still obvious, where the winds are going to be about 15 to 25. So a breezy day into Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, and back up here to the north and to the west. Now take a look at the precipitation outlook. May 28th through June 1st, we stay dry in the Midwest and then pick up a little bit more ample moisture near the Four Corner states. Mostly sunny Atlantic, Iowa, high around 84 degrees. Pecos, beautiful part of the country. If you get a chance to enjoy not only Pecos, but also Big Bend National Park, mostly sunny, high around 95 degrees. And then you got Rome, Georgia, mostly sunny, high around 83 degrees.
Now you have to watch this. Michigan State Police sprung into action over the weekend when they got word about a runaway cow that might head into traffic along very busy I-75 near Detroit. Now, state troopers blocked off the road just in case, and then suddenly the cow appeared with some real-life cowboys trailing behind. It crossed onto the highway, but the wranglers eventually caught up with it. No one was hurt. Apparently, the cow had initially gotten stuck in a gravel pit, and the cowboys managed to free it, but were concerned it might take off. Well, the cow did just that, but it's now back home safe in its pasture. Now, there is better export news these days when it comes to pork. How a key client is helping push those numbers higher. Next. We got some good news about pork exports earlier this month, with March numbers being the largest since 2021. Exports totaled more than 260,000 metric tons, up 17% year over year, and the 9th largest volume on record. Now, I spoke with the U.S. Meat Export Federation's Mexico director about the important role the country is playing right now in helping drive U.S. exports.
We see the Yucatan Peninsula, the area where Cancun and Tulum and all these resorts area is located, with over 90% of hotel occupancy, not only from Mexico, but also international tourism. So we're seeing back again all this demand on going to these places, But not only the Yucatan Peninsula, we also see this in the Pacific coast, in the north part of the country. So we're seeing this rebound coming back very aggressive.
Leaders say there's also momentum in the Asia Pacific area, where consumer activity is rebounding to pre-COVID levels and U.S. pork is competitively priced. Almost $80 billion, that's how much researchers think the economic impact an African swine fever outbreak could have on the U.S. pork and beef industries. Researchers with Iowa State University also say an ASF outbreak could directly impact 60,000 industry workers with job loss. Pork prices would also drop between 50 and 60% and could stay low for 3 years before recovering. And they believe if the industry couldn't get the disease under control, the revenue losses could go even longer. One researcher saying traceability is a necessity for the U.S. pork industry in order to help producers make risk-based decisions in an effort to stop the spread of ASF if it ever hits our shores. All right, here's a question for you. What is the definition of a farm? As this farmer is showing, it doesn't necessarily require land to meet that criteria. The story next. And we'd like to announce another winner of the Zoetis Freedom Recognition Sweepstakes by Farm Journal. Congratulations to Patrick Hartung of Hartung Farms. You've just won a special edition golf bag. And livestock producers, there are just a few days left to enter the sweepstakes. Get your phone out and scan that QR code on your screen right now. You can register to win one of those golf bags or the grand prize, an American flag wall display. Hurry, because time is running out.
In the Country on Ag Day is brought to you by Pivot Bio. What if you had the nitrogen you need already on seed? Pivot Bio is the first company to apply nitrogen on seed. The nitrogen you need, now on seed, from Pivot Bio. Learn more at pivotbio.com.
Farms can pop up in some unusual places, including the heart of a city. And as the Indiana Farm Bureau shows us, even inside places that don't look anything like farms on the outside.
Hello, my name is DeMario Vitalis. I'm the owner and founder of New Age Provisions Farms. We're located in Marion County on the east side of Indianapolis. My ag background came from my great-great-grandfather. He was a farmer. Him and his wife raised my grandmother as well as 13 other kids. And I grew up in the city, so I was never really exposed to agriculture, but I always had a desire to want to grow and want to kind of learn about it. I knew that I didn't have fertile land to grow on, and that's one of the things that kind of limit a lot of farmers is access to land. So with these containers, you can be more mobile and flexible where you put it. I own 2 containers. The first one came in August 2020, right in the middle of COVID, and then the second one came in Jan 2021. We were right in the middle of COVID, so a lot of the restaurants were shut down, and that forced me to get into more of the farm to table type of market, and as well as looking at online farmers markets, for instance, like marketwagon.com. They're where I sell a lot of my produce to. And then, selling off my website, being more socially active and kind of getting the buzz out there that, there's fresh vegetables in the local community. So we're in a controlled environment, and as long as the plants grow, we do everything from seed to harvest inside of this container. We're able to harvest about 4 to 5 times a year. Everything in here is hydroponic, and that's the key thing. You have to understand what hydroponics is. And if anyone were to ask you, hydroponics is growing food without soil. So we grow with water here, and we put the nutrients inside the water. The plants get their nutrients from the water, and then we also supply LED lights so that they can have the effect of the sun that they get as well. So everything in here is climate controlled, and also it's inside of a container, so there's no need for herbicides, there's no weeds. There's no need for pesticides because there's no bugs. So I can provide people fresh access to leafy greens as well as fresh kale. It provides a great environment for plants and also provides a great environment for working. We have Bluetooth speakers, we have a TV, so you're never missing out on any of the games or any of the things that's going on, and it just becomes a pleasant working environment. And to know that the things that you're producing, that you're also providing something good for the community, just kind of keeps you coming back every day.
And that's all the time we have this morning. We're sure glad you tuned in. From all of us here at AgDay, I'm Clinton Griffiths. Have a great day.
Closed captioning on AgDay is brought to you by BASF, helping you do the biggest job on Earth.